Hello everyone, welcome back to Left Hand Crochet by Be-Stitcht Yarn Creations. Today we're going to be coming in and doing a half double crochet tutorial. So for this particular stitch you don't exactly need a certain amount of chains, just because each one works into an individual chain. We'll learn about doing counts and stuff for different stitches later. So we're just going to jump right in here. I've got some leftover Pound of Love by Lion Brand. This is just their elephant gray. It looks a little white on camera. And then I have my H hook here. So we're going to start off, as always, by doing our slip knot. Tighten it up there. And for today's tutorial, we're just going to do a chain of 12 and work our rows that way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So here we have our foundation chain of 12. When you're working the half double crochet, you're going to have to do chain 2s for your turning. So we're going to come in and chain an extra 2. And then here you'll see we have our yarn on the hook. We've got 1, 2. It's from our chain 2. And we're going to start going into this third hook right here. Not hook, sorry. This third chain from the hook. So when you're coming in with your half double, you start by yarning over, insert it into your chain, yarn over, and pull it through that chain. And then you're going to have 3 loops on your hook. And you're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through all 3. Alright, now we're going to go into the next one. Yarn over, insert into that next chain, yarn over, pull it through. You've got 3 chains on your hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3. And you just do that all the way along here. This is a really good stitch also to practice with if you want to make a scarf. This works pretty decent if you wanted to start a little blanket, especially a little baby blanket. It does work up faster than the single crochet stitch, and it's not as gappy as your double crochet, so it really is a good medium. This is the stitch I use for my tank tops for the bra pieces, and it just really helps it to give it a more closed finish. I'm just going to do this all the way down. My yarn's starting to bunch up. I hope y'all like my little background here. I'm using my light so you can see a little better. Just my phone flash, nothing fancy yet. But it was causing a glare on my wooden desk here. So, anyways. So here we're at our last stitch. Here you can see our slip knot, which you don't work into the slip knot. You're going to work into this last one here. And then there's the end of our first row. So here's how one side looks. And you flip it over and it looks like this. It's a really nice stitch. It's not overly gappy. If you pull it, it's still not too bad. Now I'm going to show you 2 different ways that you can do your turning chain. Both of them are perfectly fine. There's the main method that I see most people using. It's absolutely perfect to use if that's what you prefer. I have recently learned of a little hack that kind of prevents the gapping from your turning chain. So we're going to start with the basic, more common way first. I'm going to show you that. So once you're at the end here, you chain 2, turn your work, and again with this we want to skip this very bottom chain right here, right there, because as you see, as you work it, this will pull over. So we're going to go into this second one right here. Now I'm not going to be working into the V's. We're not going to do a front post, back post. We're just going to work straight under the V's, and that's just helping to give it a more flat look once it's done. So you'll come back in and you'll yarn over, go into this second here, and you'll see that you're under the V, and you yarn back over and pull it through. You've got your 3 loops on the hook here, and you yarn back over and pull it through all 3. And so it's yarn over, under the V, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull through all 3. And you're going to do that all the way across. This is honestly probably one of my most used stitches. I actually didn't learn how to do this one until just a couple years ago. I'd always just done single and double, but this half double is really nice to work with. Like I said, it works up faster than just the single crochet does, but it doesn't give as much gappage as the double crochet. So this is one I definitely use very often. I'm going to show you here once we get to the end. So let me count here to make sure. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So your last stitch is this V right here. So we're going to yarn over, go into that V, and that's how that finishes up, like that. Now you'll see that this kind of pulls over up here where we started this row. That's perfectly normal. Once you start back up here and work your way across, when you do your last stitch, that's going to pull it and make it stand up a little better. So if you see that the row you're working on looks a little angled, don't worry, it'll fix itself. Let me pull out some more yarn here. So I'm going to start this row the way that I've been recently doing my turning chain, especially for the half doubles. You can see on this side there is a little bit more of a gap, and you may see it more so whenever we finish this next row. But the way that I like to do it when I'm turning for the half double is this first chain right here. We're actually going to go into it, and you're going to pull your yarn through that. You got 2 loops here, and you're going to go through both. That counts as our chain 1 for turning, and then do 1 more, and that is our chain 2. So in the end, this just ends up making it a little less gappy, and also helps to make this end right here a little more flat. Like I said, you can do either method that you prefer. Both are perfectly fine. I've definitely done both, and it's worked out great. This is just a way that I've learned how to do it, and I've been doing it ever since. I like it. So then we're going to come back here with our yarn over. We're going to go into our next stitch here, yarn over, pull through. Again, you're always going to have the 3 chains on your hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3. And it's just as Simple, easy peasy as that. Once you get some practice in, this is a really good stitch to use and have in your arsenal, in my opinion. It's very versatile. I also use this stitch a lot for my face scrubbies. I just do it in a circle of half doubles. I also like to use it for my washcloths. I very much enjoy it. So let me count here. So we've got our one first stitch here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I do get a little confused with this little angle here. So we're at 10. So we're going to come into this right here for our next half double. And then as you can see for our last one, it looks a little different. There's not really a V to work into. So where you're going to work into is right here. So we're going to yarn over, and you're going to have to finagle it in there. Yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over again, and then that ends it. And like I said, so when we looked at this last row here, this end piece was angling up. Now that we finished this row, it is straighter, and now this side is like that. And that's perfectly fine. If you see that, don't freak out. Don't think that you skipped a stitch or that you've missed a step. That's honestly just part of it. So we're going to work through and do just one more row here, and I'm going to show you the difference in how you start your turning chains once we've gotten some. You can actually just see right here, this is where I did my chain 2 off to the side and worked into the next stitch. You can see it's got that gap, and I'll show you the other side once it's built up. So I'm going to come back in here into this first stitch and go under that V and yarn over and pull through. Now I've got 2 loops here. Again, we're doing the turn and chain. Yarn over, and you're going to pull through both of those, and then that makes our chain 2 for turning. And then we'll go back into the next stitch, just repeating our steps for the half double. So again, that's going to be yarn over, insert under the V here, yarn over, pull through. You've got your 3 loops, yarn over, and pull through all 3. And we'll finish this row here. No, my little yarn balls coming up at me. Sorry. And we're going to finish this row up. And then I'm just going to count here to make sure. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So again, it does kind of help when you do the second method that I told you for turning, because now you can see we've got a V here. We didn't have that last time. So what you do, you'll see it right here. It's under that V. You'll bring it through. Again, you kind of have to force it through just with that turn and chain. Versus the other, if you look at this one here from our chain 2 that we did off to the side, it is a little bit of a bigger gap, especially towards the bottom. When you do your chain 2 into the first hook like this one, it's a little bit smaller. That's why I said both of these are perfectly fine, especially if once you finish up, you know, you do a border, you can kind of work in to these right here and that helps out. So that's the end of today's tutorial. Let me know what you all think, and I'll see you in the next one.